welcome to Hanging On by a Thread. A new podcast, I guess, about knitting and all things crafty that I do in my life. My name is Silje. I am coming to you from a small valley in the center of Norway. It's about an hour out of Trondheim. And I've decided to give this podcast thing a go. And I just want to say thank you for clicking play. You know, there's a lot of podcasters out there and they are so inspiring and so good. And mainly that's a big part of the reason why I decided I wanted to do this. It is something I've been thinking about for a long time for several reasons. First of all, just because for the past year or maybe 2 years, basically since I had my baby, so about 2 years, I started watching all these podcasts and it has really helped so much. It's inspired me to get on with my knitting and just to, you know, this sense of, oh, there's somebody out there that gets me, that gets the thing we're doing, this knitting thing, and I really wanted to join that. And the second part is that this is really stepping out of the comfort zone for me. I'm trying to look in the camera and be slow speaking, but I am quite nervous and I feel the need to my eyes be dodging every which way. So okay, I might look off the camera a few times. It's just because I'm a bit nervous. And yes, so welcome. Hopefully I will get better at this since I am out of my comfort zone. Hopefully I'll get, you know, better as we go along. Episode number 1, and yeah, let's see. Yeah, as I said, I've found so many wonderful podcasters out there, and I get a lot of inspiration and comfort from listening to them. And the knitting woes and the general musings about the world and things, and I just find it so comforting. And I just want to bring something back to that community, which has helped me through some pretty rough patches. So, okay, knitting. We want to talk about knitting, right? So let's start. So, okay, composing myself. Actually, it's getting really hot. This is a cold room, but I'm getting hot, so I'm just gonna shrug off this jumper. I felt like I had to wear nets, you know, it's because knitting podcast. So let's just dive into it. Maybe I'll get an easier time of this once I start talking about my works in progress. First up, I've got my No Frills sweater. It lives in this wonderful project bag, one of 2 that I own. I have been inspired by all these podcasters to get knitting bags. I was strictly a tote person as well, as you know, people keep saying. So this one is the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. It had been on my Ravelry queue for ages, but I just I couldn't decide on what color to cast on, and then I found this yarn online by Garnsnut. They did some skeins or hanks of silk mohair. This is the one. Don't know if this comes out nicely. As you can see, it's this lovely shade of purple, and it has specks of red, yellow, white, and it's just like, the colorway is called Nifamo? Nifmo? Something like that. Anyways, it was beautiful. So I decided I would get 2 hanks, and that should be enough for a no-frill sweater. I didn't have any, I was like picturing this lovely perfect shade of purple to go with this, so that it would be a dark purple sweater with these glitzy pops of colour and gold, and I couldn't find the the perfect shade, so I kept these hanks in my bag for weeks, just in case I would happen by a yarn shop and I would just zip in and you know, look at all the shades of purple and put my beautiful mohair next to it, and I finally found the best shade of purple at Møsterbarn. So as you can see, it's a pretty dark shade of purple. This is their 2-ply merino wool, merino ull Møsterbarn, and it's a merino wool fingering weights, light fingering I would say, and it's so light, it feels so rustic. So these two together, super light. I just basically 2 of these and 2 of these, and I end up with a fabric that looks like this. Yeah, that's pretty. So I've come as far as done the sleeves. Both sleeves are done, and now I'm on to stocking it in around the body. It's going to be quite oversized for me, but that, I mean, that's the fit that is intended on this cardigan, no, this sweater. So hopefully that will be fine. I did do the neckline a little longer than given. It's just, I just wanted to be a really warm and cozy sweater to wear. And that fell down there. Okay. And yeah, I mean, the mohair in this case is the hand-dyed yarn, and in the beginning here I did not alternate skeins, and you can see there is some pooling of color there, but I did this already before I watched I think it was the Stranded podcast with Amy, that, you know, you should alternate hand-dyed yarn skeins. It's like, okay, to avoid pooling. Nice. However, I didn't think this was bad enough to undo all the work that I already did on the yoke, which I was like basically done with the yoke by the time I learned this. So I just started alternating on the sleeves, and, you know, natural place to do it in the decreased seam there. I think it turned out quite nice. Yeah, it's a pain alternating skeins in mohair, but totally worth it, and it's going to be so warm and cozy. And yeah, let's see how it washes out, because I'm really curious about that merino as well. I've never used the Møsterbarn yarn before, so yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, next up I have a pair of mittens from a book called Silje. I picked up this book just when I moved back to Norway. I didn't say that before. I just, like, part of the reason why I am wanting to do a podcast in the first place, and why I'm doing this in English. Like, oh, you're a Norwegian girl in Norway. Why in the world would you do it in English? No, I used to live abroad. I lived abroad for about 12 years. I lived 12 years in Barcelona in Spain. And then, you know, decided to move back. We had a child and decided that, you know, with a kid, Norway kind of the better option between the two. And we didn't regret that yet, anyways. Yeah, so coming back to Norway, having access to all that lovely rustic yarn again without having to order online, I can just go and squish it. So I went a bit mad on the yarn shopping, and I bought this book, Silje, which is this book here. Yeah, and it is just like, it's like the ultimate resource book if you like Silje mittens, and I eventually plan on, you know, making my own personal ones, you know, with a little bit of symbolism going on there, because, you know, if you give it a gift to your loved one, you can have some symbols on there that are particular for that person, and, you know, put the year, put the name, things like that in, which I love the idea. I haven't gotten around to that, and I desperately wanted to do some classic traditional Norwegian knits, and yeah, so this is what I have so far. One knit there without a thumb, the second one started, mirrored, of course, I had to double check that, and yeah, getting along nicely. It's a bit small for me, so I think these might be gifted. So I was thinking maybe to start like a box of mittens for gifting. So I'd always have some nice handmade gift to give away, and I can keep my colourwork craving at bay. So I don't cast on, you know, 50 different colourwork jumpers, which is very tempting. But I currently have one colourwork jumper going, so I don't need another one. Actually, I am planning to cast on another. Well, anyways, this is knit in Ask by Hillesvåg. I had some left over from previous projects, and it's just, you really don't need much to make a pair of mittens. It's ridiculous. I feel like I have the same amount still left as when I started, and it's just like, they're so light. So yeah, these are, I could tell a bit more about the pattern. It's Kallarstø mittens. They were designed by, oh, did I write that down? Sofie Aunhagen, which is one of the ladies featured in the book, and one of her classic like mitten pattern is in the back, and I just knitted off that. I did make some mistakes already on the cuff, but luckily I matched my mistake on the left hand, so who's to know? Yeah, that's smart. Oh yes, yeah. So next up, I have, this is the third and final active whip. I do like to have several projects on the go. And I like them to be different from each other, so that, you know, when I get sick and tired of going with stockinetting around, which is frankly quite boring, it's, you know, it's sometimes it's nice if you're watching something interesting on TV, you don't have to, you know, you don't have to pay attention to your knitting so much. But if I'm just knitting, I just, kind of, it's hypnotic, and I get really sleepy if I'm just going knit, 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 knit also if I'm too stressed out, if I'm anxious, having only the stockinette to go to. No, I need something to occupy my brain. So I need something more complicated, and I'm happy in between, you know, lace. Lace needs focus. So that might, if you're anxious, that's too complicated again. So colourwork is usually that go-to thing for me. Being as, yeah, growing up in Norway, being taught knitting from grandmothers and mothers, the go-to thing is colourwork, and you know, 2 strands, just 2 colours. It's not like the Fair Isle where you keep changing the colours. So that's very like, it's stockinette in the round all the time, but there's some interest going on because you have to keep, you know, keep checking that your pattern is coming along right. So that's basically the mittens, really. And a small travel project. The third one I'm knitting on right now, I cast it on yesterday actually, last night. It's I ripped out the yarn, or I ripped out a sweater that I had made in 2015 out of Brooklyn tweed shelter, and I just was not. It was a wonderful knit. It's the Ondawa pullover by Michelle Wang. I think I want to say Wang. Yeah, it just didn't fit me. I loved the texture of the fabric. This is beautiful, cabled, boxy fit with the narrow sleeves, and it just looked so fantastic on the model. And I was just like, yes! I bought all the yarn. I bought 10 skeins of Brooklyn tweed shelter. It was insanely expensive. I was living in Spain at the time. I had it shipped there, and I was just like, oh, such a treat, such a luxury. And I knitted up all the panels, sewed it together, and it was just not love once I'd sewn it together and put it on. I did wear it a couple of times, but it was like a bit too short for me. I mean, it was supposed to be a crop boxy, but it was too short, and yeah, it's just like it was sticking out in the front and in the back, and it was too snug around my arms, and I just, and I had washed it and blocked it, and I was really scared. I was thinking, no, this crunchy yarn is not going to survive being ripped out. So there it lay in my closet for 3 years. And finally, yesterday morning, I was, no, I am currently tired of everything I'm knitting on. I need something on, like, I need to knit myself a worsted weight cardigan, something that's really fast, easy to do, something that, and I needed to be versatile. What do I have? I looked in my yarn stash. I didn't have any worsted weight yarn really that I wanted to use, and not enough of it. I didn't have a sweater's quantity. So yeah, I looked over and I saw the Ondawa cardigan. No, pullover. I thought, yeah, okay, fuck it. Ooh, sorry. I'm gonna rip it out. I undid the seams. Surprised that the yarn didn't, you know, yarn came out nicely. It undid itself very neatly. I started with one arm. I thought, okay, if everything fails, I can still stitch it back up together. But it unraveled perfectly. So I have lots of this. I have now 10 skeins of shelter ready to go and to become this new cardigan. And I chose to do the Stranger cardigan. It's I think it's published by Brooklyn Tweed. It's in the Wool People, no, yeah, Wool People, one of the publications, 4 I think it is. And it's just like, it skipped to the front of my queue because it was this nice, it uses exactly the quantity of yarn I have in shelter, worsted weight, and it still has cables, but it's this kind of two-way, what they call it, a two-way cardigan. So like you can wear it in the long sense that you have this cable panel going down and just kind of a normal collar there and some slightly cropped, yeah. And you can also wear it the other way around so that the cables end up going over your shoulders, which I thought was really cool. And after having this sweater in my closet, not being able to use it for 3 years, I'm like, I'm gonna make something that is really versatile and I will actually wear. So no more sweaters and, well, no more pullovers for me. Cardigans. Cardigans is the thing, especially no fitted sweaters. They have to be comfy. Famous last words, right? For sure I will see a sweater, a pullover sweater somewhere that I was like, oh, I must knit. But anyways, for now, this is such an easy knit, and this is all I did from yesterday. It's like I did one repeat of the cables and that was enough to memorize it. Such a simple, just and the squishy fabric. So that, since last night, that's pretty decent, I think. So I will be picking this up when I want to use the fatter needles. Yeah. Yes. So that's, and that's basically my current, like, active whips, I like to call them, because I do have other things that are in progress. If you go into my Ravelry, you will totally see that there are more things in progress there than these three, but these are the three that are currently getting some love. I have, you know, I have a few from the Make 9, which I was like, yay, Make 9, January or February, doesn't matter. Like, Make 9, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm gonna put all these beautiful 9 garments, and that's what I'm gonna knit this year. Lovely, have a plan, stick to it. That's not how it works. So currently I have one Make 9 completed, which is my Humulus sweater, and that was just such a fast knit. I think I did it in, I think, less than a week, and it was done. It was just like, I must say that I spent about 3 months trying to find the correct yarn and colors. In the end, I did buy kind of a beige, I don't know, yeah, I have it in my leftover basket, scrap basket. I bought like this tin pelsull, this kind of beigey brown color, and I thought, yes, I'm gonna have like a beigey brown, and then I'm gonna have the pattern be this lovely olive green, right? I was like, wow, that's gonna be beautiful. Knit up the sample. I bought sweatless quantity of this. I think 4 or 5, whatever, 4, I think, and one of these, right? Freshly arrived to Norway. I was like, oh, Tinde pelsull, so good. And yeah, knit up the sample. No contrast. I mean, seriously, no contrast. You couldn't see the green, hops, flowers. It's just like, it was ridiculous. You couldn't see it. So yes, that didn't happen. So it went in the bin. I was all sad about it. It was like, I bought all this yarn, and what a waste, what a waste. So some of the green turned into a hat, a beanie, because, you know, it was cold outside and I came from Barcelona, I had nothing to wear. And this, as you can see, there's not much left. This is all that's left of the 4 skeins of brown that I got. I ended up casting on and knitting the White Horse sweater from Boylan Knitworks, and it just turned out beautiful. So happy I did that. It was just the perfect yarn. It got this like the luster of the pelsul and just so warm, and the lace up top became so, it was so much fun to do. I think that was another quick knit. I was just like, yeah, under a week again for that. That was a short sweater, like waist short, and I also did like just the arms down to here. But yeah, I will have to show you that at some point. Those two are kind of finished objects, but I thought maybe since you've never met me before, what does it matter to you, my finished objects, right? You haven't followed the progress from, you know, from birth until ta-ta, the beautiful finished object. But yes, so that went in the bin. My Humulus ended up being charcoal grey with this limey green, and now that was a beautiful contrast. So pleased with it. That's the only sweater I managed to do with my Make 9. There are 3 more from it that are in progress, but they're kind of hibernating. One, because I ran out of yarn, so I needed to get more, and I did it in Pickle's merino tweed, and I don't know why, but they have not restocked that colorway. It's like the black color in merino tweed, and it's just never coming back in stock. So I've done the yoke of a cardigan, and it's just, well, I have it here actually in my box of whips in front of my leg here. Oh, gotta work on my setup. Oh, opens the other way. Let's see. There we go. I think it is Gudrun Johnson Lerwick. Let me see, excuse me. That is not it. That's another one. That's not it either. Jeez. Is it here? No! Ah, there you are. Ha, found it. Okay. So yeah. So this is how far as I got. Yep. I mean, it's black, so it might not come out so nice, but it's, oh, the texture of this is so lovely, and the little tweedy bits from the merino tweed. I held it double with Holst Super Soft in black because I thought it might give a bit of stability to the merino tweed, which is like a one ply, single ply I guess it's called, and quite fluffy. So when this washes up, whoa, it's going to be amazing. But it's not going anywhere unless I can find more of this, right? And I that's all I have. That's not enough for a whole cardigan, is it? I mean, they really go a long way, these balls of merino tweed, but that's not going to be enough. So I'm hoping it will be restocked soon, or if anybody out there have the mörkt black colorway of Pickle's merino tweed, yeah, contact me. Send me a message on Ravelry and say, hey, I think I need maybe one more ball, 2 max, 1.5, and that would be good to go. So I clearly need to work on my camera setup, because it's just kind of like, oh, you've reached your limit of, or maybe I just need a better camera. I don't know. But I was talking about my Lerwick and my woes about that. So since we're already on Shetland, I can pull out my Inst cardigan, which is also part of my Make 9, which is currently hibernating because of, you know, brain failure. I am loving the colors on this and the color work. like Fair Isle and Maria Wallin is like, I think Maria Wallin is one of my favorite designers at the moment. Just look at that color work, yay! So I've basically done the entire body, started decreasing for the arms. This is supposed to be knit flat, and I've decided to knit it in a round because my head went completely nuts trying to purl the color work. That's just, I don't do that yet. So I thought, okay, I really enjoy steeking. I think that's a brilliant way of just making anything into a cardigan. And yeah, I started knitting this in a round. Perfect, great. I figured out how to do the decreases for the armhole, and I've gotten as far as marking where I should take out, cast off for the yoke. And this is where my brain is doing a bit of a can't handle this right now. So I put it away. I put it away for that moment in time where I'm like, yes, I've got energy. I can do knitting mats and, you know, get cracking on making mats. Because I want to do that steek as well, you know? I'll cast off, I imagine, and then I'll just like cast on to another steek. And yeah, and after that, I'll just have to do the arms. Or just to get, you know, not leave it lingering, I could cast on the arms and get those started, like get up there and then, you know, save that troublesome yoke to the end. If anybody has done this, like converted a flat one and done all the decreases for the yoke and stuff, I would be happy to get some tips, because this is one of the things like I absolutely love knitting it and I so want to wear it, just, you know. But this madness right here, look at that, look at this madness. And yeah, you know what, I'm not gonna have to sew in the ends. I've woven them in as I went along. So when I finish this jumper, this cardigan, I just have to snip them off, tidy it up a bit. Yeah. Weaving in the ends when you change colors. Brilliant! I think I picked that. Yeah, Fruity Knitting. Thank you for that. Brilliant. Such a knowledgeable podcast. I'm like, wow. One of the best ones out there. Like, really professional. And yeah. I think it was after watching the interview with Marie Wallen on Fruity Knitting that I just yeah, went straight out and got the Shetland. Yes. And it's just, oh, I want to knit everything in it. But the shirts, oh my goodness. It's just like, coming from Norway and being very comfortable doing colour work. Yeah, I had no idea it could look like this. Wow. So, pleased with myself and annoyed with myself at one time in this one. So this might get picked up again soon, hopefully. And then I have another Make 9, which is the Coffee at the Grand Stole. I needed some like light summer knitting, feeling the brioche wave, so I cast on in these 3 shades from Eden Cottage yarn. It's I think it's the only, I think it's a non-superwash merino, not sure, but anyways, so this, and I cast this on before I remember that I really get bored knitting scarves, not shawls. I've only knit one shawl, doesn't seem to be as boring as knitting a scarf. It's just straight. Even with the brioche and stripes to keep me motivated, you know, that kind of, oh, just one more stripe and one more squishy brioche pattern. And yeah, it's worked so far, but I need to do like 2/3 more of this before I can cast on. So this next summer, maybe. I keep picking this up and like making 2 rows in between things when I'm like, oh, I'm bored with this project, and just kind of guiltily pull this out and knit on it. So beautiful design, and you know, just not feeling the knit, just not enjoying the process, and that's really all it is about for me. Sometimes I might knit a gift or something and I'm like, oh, if they choose the pattern themselves, I might not be so excited about it, but I know it'll be worth it in the end because the person is going to love it. So I kind of just, you know, work through it. But if it's for myself, if I'm not enjoying the knit, it's just not, yeah, worth it. So this one is kind of on the shelf because I do like it, and I might make it into a gift. My mum, I think, would love this. It's like a summer shawl, like a, ooh, nice, with tassels and everything. Speaking of tassels, that's another shawl I have had my eye on. It's the chamomile shawl by Helga Isager. It's just like one of these simple triangular shawls with a lace border, similar to the hats, but without that, you know, wave. And it has tassels as well. And she's done this really beautiful design. It's so simple, but it has these stripes, so you could do it in any way, you know, bright stripes. But the way it's designed is that it has one stripe of a rustic yarn, and then the next stripe is like of a fluffier, lighter yarn. So you get this kind of, they have the same shade of color, but you get this kind of very subtle stripy effect and the texture, and I think that's going to be beautiful. So I might cast that on soon, but let's see. There's so many things to knit, guys, and I think that's what, like, non-knitters, they don't get this. They don't, well, non-makers, I should say, because, you know, I was sitting down making notes for this podcast and thinking, okay, what should I talk about? What projects? I mean, do I have enough to talk about to, you know, make it a whole episode? And yeah, I started writing, and I wrote like just 3 pages about a couple of projects, you know, that I had ideas on. And wow, okay. So this is a lot of pent up excitement and knitting things that is gonna finally get an outlet. And my family doesn't have to, you know, roll their eyes at me when I go like, oh, have you seen this cable? This is so gorgeous. Do you think I will? Yeah, and they, you know, another parcel arrives in the post and they go, is that more yarn? They don't get it. My stash is my stash. I love watching it and seeing like, okay, just imagining the possibilities and knowing that whatever fancy takes me, I can dive in and find something that will make a beautiful thing. And it's something that I make with my hands. Which sure many of you have the same feeling. Like, I've been working in an office for most of my, well, for all of my, you know, my work life. Sitting in front of a computer, working in an office. So really that creative outlet, that need to do something with my hands, is turned into knitting. And, you know, that love of textiles and fabrics and just, oh, that's it. But yes, I think I have anything more on my list here. No? Make 9? I've rambled on about that for a while. So really, thank you for watching. Hopefully this won't be too rambling, too awkward, and too... Yeah, it's the first time I do this. I hope I can edit it well enough, and thank you again for clicking play. And please let me know if you liked it, and you know, if you found it, that's you watched the whole thing. Wow, thank you. Just, you know, leave comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. You know, I'm doing this to join the conversation and get out of my, you know. Hope to see you again. Hope I do this again. I will do this again. Yeah, I think I will. Bye.